Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Put the lime in the coconut. Put the lime in the coconut.
This is Chris.
And I was wondering, is .Mac worth
it? Well, I've got a copy.
Do you think it's worth it, or do you think Windows Live is better?
Oh, Windows Live is definitely not better. Is .Mac worth it? I think it's worth it more at 60 or 70 bucks than it was, what was it originally, like right around 100. If you don't have your own website, if you want extra hosting, if you want to synchronize your preferences and bookmarks and whatnot between various computers, .Mac is worth it. If you want to take advantage of, a limited amount of sharing, .Mac is likely worth it. If you want, web storage in the sky, it's not much, but if you want a place to store your photos and you don't want to upload them to a third party other than, .Mac being a third party, but having your own iDisk, yeah, it is potentially worth it. To me, I think the remote desktop feature is less important, but you got to think about it from the angle of an average user. If you told them, hey, you can connect to your Mac from anywhere by using the service through .Mac, I mean there's an extreme advantage to that. Of course, you've got other ancillary services with .Mac, like the mail. So if you don't have your own mail account, you could get a .Mac account. Although I'm not very likely to recommend that because if you I've had a .Mac account since they really first released them, and I had turned it off. I didn't pay for it anymore, and when you don't pay for it, it's still there, just inactive. I haven't had access to my .Mac account for a few years, at least my email that had been, but so I never shared that email. Thank goodness. Had I shared that email, then I would have had to keep it up, so it would pretty much have cost me a ton of money over the years, and I really wouldn't have taken advantage of it. There's IMAP mail, the 10 gigs of storage, website hosting, the web gallery for your photos, the iDisk, syncing, which I think is that's where the true value lies, is in the syncing, syncing all your data back and forth between computers. And then another thing that's kind of neat, and I may be giving this a shot as well. There's something called groups, where you can have a calendar and like not exactly like a blog, but it looks really to be a neat service, especially if you have clubs or groups that you deal with. I might try to do one for my neighborhood. I don't know how that's going to work yet, though. There's also online backups that they have, and they have, I think, even different levels, once you gain access to this. It kind of takes the idea of Time Machine and pushes it out to the web. Anyway, so, yeah, is it worth it? Depends on what you want to use it for. I think they've thrown a lot more value in the most recent version of .Mac, and will hopefully continue to throw more value in it, and at the same time, hopefully decreasing the price, over time. I don't think it'll ever be free, though. They're not going to. Why? If they're not losing revenue, why give something away? It's the same reason why Microsoft is still charging for Microsoft Office. Well, people might argue, well, I could get other Office, alternatives for free. That hasn't necessarily damaged, to a large degree, any of Microsoft Office's sales. So why would Microsoft give something away for free when they're making billions of dollars on it today? It just doesn't make any financial sense. So if you really want .Mac to be free, tell people to stop buying it. But if you find value in it, buy it. I just got my copy the other day. I'll be activating it within, probably within a few weeks. And we'll be taking advantage of a lot of this stuff. Not every bit of it, but yeah, sure, I'll set up my own .Mac page again on the web. Have my own home page. Ooh, it'd be so exciting. I don't know, what does everybody else think? .Mac? I don't think you can compare it to Windows Live services or the MSN services. I've paid for MSN services and certainly had gotten far less than this, and certainly not as integrated an experience as what I would get or will get through .Mac. I've had it before, didn't use it for years, didn't buy it. Then they released a new version of .Mac, and I said, yeah, it's worth trying again. So I'm speaking from experience on both sides. Just curious what everybody else thinks. Oh, my Mac tells me, the Mac says yeah, you should get the .Mac. You should expect nothing less from a Mac.